our reliability program structure based on EASA rules, regulations, requirements. As I mentioned, I developed 10 years ago, I did this lunch and learn session, and I used the document. This document is based on 2003 revision. So I'm using now for this presentation also. So I'd like to ask you to do your homework and just check EASA website, right? If they have same revision or maybe renew something. But in our case, as I said, in this presentation, I'm going to use 2003 revision. What we have here, Annex 1, acceptable means of compliance to Part M. And we have section MCMA 302D, maintenance program. And under this section, we have requirements for our reliability program. Definitely, I'm not going to read all these reliability program requirements here, but I would like to bring to your attention to two very interesting items. First one, it's number 3. The purpose of reliability program is to ensure that the aircraft maintenance program tasks are effective and their periodicity is adequate. Do you remember in our reliability program presentations and back our presentations, I think we used it 2 or 3 times. So that's this statement, right? That's where I took from regulations. Okay? And the second one, or number 6, it tells us that Appendix 1 to MCMA 302 and MB 301D gives further guidance. Now let's go to the Appendix 1. Here's Appendix 1. And it tells us that Appendix 1 to MCMA 302 and MCMB 301B. It looks like something happened with something went wrong with the 2003 version because they are giving the revisions, the D, right? 301D. And here they are telling us about B. Okay. Also, you can check, maybe they fix it. I just copied and paste from these regulations, okay? Anyway, let's go back to our discussion. So, since Appendix 1 covers entire MCMA 302, our reliability program is under Item 6. Definitely, I'm not going to read here all these recommendations, requirements, right? But, and then plus the structure, reliability program structure is under 6.5. I would like, before we go to the structure, I would like to bring to your attention another 2 very interesting points. And number 1, it is about applicability. What it says, a reliability program should be developed in the following cases. A regulator tells us when we have to develop our reliability program. A, aircraft maintenance program is based upon MAG3 logic. B, aircraft maintenance program includes condition monitored components. C, aircraft maintenance program does not contain overhaul time periods for all significant system components. D, when specified by manufacturer's maintenance planning document or MRB. What I love about these 4 cases that they are using, we have same wordings. Aircraft maintenance program, aircraft maintenance program, aircraft maintenance program, aircraft maintenance program. If you go back to requirements, number 3 also tells us, again, just example, okay, tells us the purpose of reliability program is to ensure that the aircraft maintenance program tasks are effective and their periodicity is adequate. It means that we have to build a system that supports appropriate level of, because see, let me explain what's happening here. Why we need all these tasks? And the answer is very simple. To provide, to support, to have appropriate level of safety, airworthiness, and to meet all these certification requirements. Very simple. Next, engineering judgment. We also very often use this wording. Let's see what regulator tells us about engineering judgment. Engineering judgment is itself inherent to reliability programs, as no interpretation of data is possible without judgment. The organization which runs the program hires sufficiently qualified personnel with appropriate engineering experience and understanding of reliability concepts, CMCMA 706, another reference not going there. But a regulator is very clear. Who should be in charge for the program? It says personnel with appropriate knowledge, engineering knowledge, experience, and understanding of reliability concept. I would also add understanding aircraft operational reliability, because this is very specific. So as we can see, again and again and again, the regulator is very clear in these type of cases. Anyway, let's go now to the reliability program and let's check what regulator tells us about structure. And it starts from objectives. Again, I would like to remind you that not bringing here all this the items, right? It is I think it's 4 or 5 pages. Please visit EASA website and all these items there. But I'm going to bring some interesting points, okay? Under objectives, which is number 1, it says, statement should be included summarizing as precisely as possible the prime objectives of the program. What exactly we have to include? And here is regulator tells us, to the minimum it should include the following. Not bringing here, please go to the EASA website. Very interesting. Next, number 2, identification of items. The items controlled by the program should be stated, for example, ATA chapter, etc., etc. Remember we had all this in our reliability program? ATA number, ATA section, system number. That's what we are talking about here. 3, terms and definitions. The significant terms and definitions applicable to the program should be clearly identified. And I think it's very clear also. Because one case, let's say this discussion about formulas, right? We are using abbreviatures. In one case, it can be one meaning, one abbreviature, right? One formula. In another case, completely different meaning, completely different formula. We have to define, we have to tell our readers, in our particular case, our aviation authorities, that this, what does it mean? We have to include it in our reliability program. Next, information sources and collections. Not reading here again. An interesting thing is here about primary sources. Again and again and again, we said in our introduction section, we need to identify all these primary sources, starting from PIREP, MIREP, etc., etc. Very simple. Number 5, display of information. Collected information may be displayed graphically or in a tabular format, or a combination of both. The format should be such that the identification of trends, specific highlights, and related events would be readily apparent. As we said many times, easy to read, easy to understand, easy to interpret. Number 6, examination, analysis, and interpretation of information. So we cannot just throw this and say, hey, no, this is the table, this is the graph, do whatever you want. No. The method employed for examining, analyzing, and interpreting the program information should be explained. It's very clear. Corrective action, not bringing here. Please go to the EASA website. Organizational responsibilities, again and again. We said it in introduction section. We put very general, very high level organizational structure with the roles and responsibilities. Presentation, number 9, presentation of information to the competent authority. I've been in charge for the presenting this information, reporting for almost 4 years, 4 times per year, quarterly basis. And we had discussion about each comma, each point. As a matter of fact, by the way, this is part of the certification. I'm talking here about airline certification, and airline certification office was one place, this reporting office was another place, and certification time was coming. They were contacting this reporting office, asking question, what this ABC airline is doing. 4 years, I can tell you, never had a problem. See, why I'm bringing this is very important, because in general, airlines interpret all these recommendations, regulations, rules their own way, right? But when you go to the aviation authorities, they are saying, hey, you know what? We need a little bit more information. So you need to explain why you put this comma, why we put this point here. If it is not enough, then we have to go back to the airline, right? Update our report and send it back. But as I said, 4 years, never had a problem for this certification when certification time was coming. Number 10, evaluation and review. Each program should contain procedures for monitoring and, as necessary, revising the reliability standards or alert levels. The organizational responsibilities for monitoring and revising the standards should be specified together with associated timescales. Again and again and again, we said it, right? There are different ways of how to calculate, how to set all these alert levels and standards. So, different ways. We already had this discussion, not bringing here, but please go back and check it. For example, 100 flight hours, 1,000 flight hours, etc., etc. And last one, 11, at least for revision 2003, right? Approval of maintenance program amendment. As example, we can use maintenance program optimization. Again, I'm not going to open here discussion about maintenance program optimization. It is a very interesting subject, by the way, right? But as example, so we can use as a maintenance program optimization. What I would like to mention that this is, all these recommendations, requirements, right, are based on EASA rules, regulations, and requirements. But the exactly same type of recommendations, the rules and requirements are from Federal Aviation Administration side. Right? They have the advisory circular. Just, I don't know, it was renewed, newly revised, let me put it this way. The previous revision was, as far as I remember, 40 or 50 years old, okay? Same thing we have Transport Canada. We have technical publication for all this operation reliability. I'm pretty sure same thing has Australian civil aviation authorities, British civil aviation authorities, etc., etc., etc. As we said, the approach can be or might be different or slightly different, but goal is the same. One and only one. It is safety, airworthiness, certification for this entire system, entire subjects and objects. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.